Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, erlauben Sie.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and please allow me to speak German. You have the English interpretation on Channel 1. It could be important that in this case we should be more precise, also corresponding the legal expressions, hopefully translated well. You have received the media release by the Attorney General of Switzerland. I shall not be able to comment on that. There's no more to be said as to the content for obvious reasons, but let me outline 4 items which are important to us. First and foremost, FIFA initiated this process on November 18 last year. FIFA lodged a legal complaint with the federal attorney, and as you all know, it had to do with the attribution of the World Cups 2018 and 2022. On this basis relies the Attorney General of Switzerland for their current investigation. And the second point important to me, and this I wish to underscore, is that FIFA, and the timing may not be obviously the best, but definitely FIFA welcomes this process, and FIFA cooperates fully with the Attorney General of Switzerland and the Federal Office of Justice. And it corresponds to all requests for information. And the third point is very important. This was also underscored by the Attorney General in their press release. This was underscored explicitly, and I wish to repeat this, that in this case, FIFA is the damaged party. In this context, FIFA is the damaged party, and this leads to the fact that there were no searches within the offices of FIFA. The people of the federal attorney are here. We cooperate with them. We provide all the information requested by them, and this for our own interests, because it is of our highest interest that all open questions can be answered, all questions open in the light of this complaint we have lodged on 18 November. Now, I saw tweets, I saw media releases and comments and speculations. Let me say that the General Secretary and the President are not involved in this procedure. As to the names that were published in the media this morning, I am unable to comment. Responsible, and this is also obvious in the press release of the General Attorney, then you would have to address to Mr. Andre Marti. You have his data to get in touch with him, or if you have questions to the Federal Office of Justice, you have the person to get in touch with Folco Pali. Now, you certainly have questions when it comes to the questions and the answers. There is hardly anything we can say as to the current procedure. I can only say nothing more and nothing less than that what has been said and written by the Federal Attorney's Office about an hour ago. And let me tell you that in spite of we are very happy about what is happening right now, it is once again, unfortunately, FIFA suffering under these circumstances. It is certainly a difficult moment for us. You know, we have the Congress about to start. Lots of questions. Will the Congress take place? Will it not take place? Of course, Congress will take place. One thing has nothing whatsoever to do with the other. There may be dissenting views on that, but from our side, this Congress definitely will be carried out, but taking into account this current procedure, but this is not related to Congress. Now, I hope I have been perfectly clear, and I thank you for being here. Now, I'm giving you this information right now at 11:26. We are, of course, in very close contact with the Attorney General, and it is quite possible that perhaps later during the day or more tomorrow, we will be able to give you an update on the situation, at least concerning us, concerning FIFA. So take this information, status 11:26. We know nothing more right now, and we only know what we have been informed through this press release. And perhaps my colleagues with the microphone could gather the question. Martin Ziegler, perhaps.
Thanks, Walter. Martin Ziegler from the Press Association. You've said that Congress will go ahead as planned. Will the election take place as planned? Because there has been some suggestions that Mr. Blatter is looking to have the election postponed.
Well, then you know more than I do, because there was never such an idea to postpone nor the Congress nor the election. As I said before, one thing has nothing to do with the other. So we go on with the agenda that you know, and the election will take place as it was planned. Andrew Warshaw, please.
Thanks, Walter. Andrew Warshaw, Inside World Football. Walter, do we then assume that both these investigations, stroke probes, stroke call them what you like, are just coincidence in terms of the timing? Thank you.
Well, I give you the answer from the General Attorney, and he said it. But you're going to ask him as well. The fact that all the people that are interested in to talk to, they are here for the Congress. So for them, it's easier to talk to them once they are all here, instead of going and try to talk to them in these different countries. But this is something that you can double check with the General Attorney. But this is the answer we received. Brian Swansea, please.
Good morning, Walter. Brian Swanson, Sky Sports News HQ. Can you confirm how many serving members of FIFA's Executive Committee have been arrested in connection with the investigation? And is there any doubt now over the World Cups in 2018 and 2022? Will FIFA reconsider a revote?
Two no's for you. No. So I cannot confirm, as I said, I cannot confirm the names. I cannot confirm how many people have been arrested, how many people are investigated, and so on. And I can say what I said, or what the President said in the past press conference. The World Cup 2018 and 2022 will be played in Russia and in Qatar.
Owen Gibson from The Guardian. You say that the events today have nothing to do with the Congress, but the fact is that FIFA executives who arrived for the Congress have been arrested, one in an investigation that you didn't know about, one in people have been questioned in an investigation you did know about. How can you say the two events are unrelated to FIFA and to what goes on here?
Well, you're going to ask the General Attorney, and that's the answer we received. There are two separate investigations. It was made clear on the press release, and as they explained us, it was a question of coordination. So in other words, no one could start first, and the second would be second, of course, but they had to coordinate and try to be as efficient as possible. And the fact that it took place 2 days prior to the Congress, one explanation, I already gave it to you, everybody's here. The second one is, of course, you have a good international coverage. Jamil, please.
Yes, Jamil Shah, the Estado de São Paulo. Since you said, you basically implied that the police and the justice is doing this in part for the press, can you tell us, have you ever thought of a lowest moment in history of FIFA than this one? And over which FIFA will President Blatter preside after this?
As I said in the very beginning, you don't believe me, but I know. But I'm going to say it once again. This for FIFA is good. It's not good in terms of image. It's not good in terms of reputation, but in terms of cleaning up, in terms of everything what we did in the last 4 years, in terms of the reform process, this is good. We wouldn't have any interest to give the files to the General Attorney the 18th of November if we would not have known that the consequences are exactly what we're doing here. So for us, once again, it is not a nice day, and as you know, we have other things to do as well. But in other words, it's also a good day, because I think the process goes on, and we're looking forward to have the results, because as long as you don't have concrete results, it leaves rooms for all kind of speculations, and this is for sure not something that we're looking for. On the second part, I'm not saying that they did it on purpose because you guys are here, but because it's more efficient when everybody is here. But of course, you have also the right coverage of the media. So this for sure was not the main goal, I guess. Rob, please.
Rob Harris from the Associated Press. First of all, how, when the World Cup's bidding process is under investigation, can you categorically rule out that those tournaments will stay in Russia and Qatar? And also, many people today around the world will look at this scandal and see, although Sepp Blatter hasn't been indicted or anything, but he's been head of the committee running FIFA for so many years, and they'll look, how can he continue in power?
Well, because it's exactly the although you just say. Although it's not just something that is not important. It is important. He is not involved. So how can you say although? This for me is important information. Second part, I mean, what do you expect from us? That we start to speculate and say, well, maybe Russia, Qatar, we have to redo the voting. I mean, Russia and Qatar will be played. This is what is fact today. And I don't go into speculation what will happen tomorrow, after tomorrow, and so on. This is what I can tell you. Not more and not less. Next one, please.
Thank you. Walter, Kami and Zeram, Channel 4 News. Following on from Robert's question, in any normal organization that has received scandal crises for decades, and again today, 2 big investigations, the leadership, the senior leadership would be held accountable. Why on earth is Mr. Blatter still the right person to run FIFA? And secondly, you said that FIFA is the damaged party here. Is it not the case that it's the billions of football fans around the world that are the damaged party?
Well, for sure, the damaged party are all of us. I agree, and the football fans for sure. But on the first part, what do you want me to answer? No, the president is not involved. Of course, he is the head of FIFA, but he's not involved in any. So how can you say, okay, he has to whatsoever step down? Here's the president. Here's the president. Here's the president. And in 2 days there are elections. If the 209 members of the association, they will re-elect him, then he is the president for the next 4 years. Please.
Hi, Walter. Can you confirm that Mr. Blatter had no advanced warning about what took place today? Have you spoken to him since it took place, and can you give us an idea about what his general reaction is to what's happened?
Yes, I can confirm that none of us had an idea that this morning at 6 o'clock they will start their action, because if I would have had the information, I can assure you I would have gone to bed earlier yesterday. So there was no way that we could knew that, and that's normal. The general attorney, they will not tell us, listen, we are coming tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So we were all surprised, and that's why I decided, after talking to the president and general secretary, we do a press conference right now, although all the informations you might need to have, I don't have them. So we would have prepared this in another way, I cannot tell you, if we would have known that. So we were as surprised as you guys were.
What's his emotions? What's he feeling?
Sorry?
What are his emotions? He's shocked, or what's going through his mind?
The emotion of the president. Well, I mean, first of all, he is focused on the Congress, and this is for everybody involved. Let's put it like this, the stress factor is a little bit higher today than it was yesterday. But, I mean, he's quite relaxed, because he knows, and he knew it before, and he's confirmed once again today that he is not involved. He's not involved in that. All the rest, he's going to accept what will happen. And I'm sorry if I'm going to repeat myself, but it was FIFA, the 18th of November, who asked the general attorney to open a case. So, well, let's go the first row, and then let's take a Swiss journalist, Peter Hosli, just for once. Give it back to you. Yeah.
Sam Borden from the New York Times. Walter, is it, given all the scandals that the fans of football have seen over the years, is it still the position of Mr. Blatter and FIFA that the Garcia report shouldn't be made public for those fans to see?
Well, I'm surprised that you're asking these questions, because basically you're good informed. You know that in Marrakesh last year, all the people who are there, you know that the executive committee in December last year decided, yes, we're gonna publish the Garcia report after all those open cases are solved. So the Garcia report once again will be published, not only for you guys, but for the general public. And then you can read whatever you're interested in. So the Garcia report will be published. Yes, please.
Hi, Walter. Richard Conway from BBC. The statement from the Department of Justice in the US that's been released in the last few minutes says that this is not the end of their investigations. Mr. Blatter said in December that FIFA was in a crisis, and it now wasn't. Do today's events plunge this organization back into another crisis?
Well, on your first question, it's not up to me to comment what they just said. If they go on, then they go on. And the second part, yes, I'm sorry, I have to repeat myself, but for us, it's a hard time. It's not nice to be here in front of you and try to explain something that is not nice. But in the same time, and I can confirm you, for us, for FIFA, this is good. This is good what happens. It confirms that we are on the right track. It hurts, it's not easy, but it's the only way to go. And we are ready to go the way we started 4 years ago, and nothing will stop us. Now I give the floor to you, Peter Hosli, please.
Peter Hosli, a Blick. there is an extradition agreement with the US and Canada. How are the travel plans of Sepp Blatter are being revised, going to Canada to the Women's World Cup? Well, as to the travel plans of the EXCO members, I certainly have no information whatsoever. That's up to them how and when they travel, but the travel plans of the president are not changing. As planned, he will travel to Canada, I think more towards the final match. Jérôme Valk will be present at the opening match. And it is not, as I read in various media, that the president would avoid the U.S. for fear of being questioned at the airport. So, yes, there is an agreement between Switzerland and the U.S. for legal help. So if somebody has to be questioned by the U.S. authorities, they can for extradition. They don't have to wait until the next trip to the U.S. So there's no problem. It has no influence whatsoever on President's plans to travel. But once again, I cannot comment on the travel plans of the President, EXCO members.
Charlie Searle, Daily Mail. Walter, can you tell us a bit more what happened at 6 o'clock when the Swiss authorities came? You say that FIFA have cooperated fully with them. So who was here to greet them? Did they smash the door down or what happened?
Charlie, at 6 o'clock I was sleeping. And how it worked and what they did and if there was any problems to do what they had to do. This is something that you have to ask my colleague from the General Attorney, Andre Marti, and he's more than happy to give you the information. I just received a phone call around 7 o'clock and I didn't know anything about what happened at that time.
And also, you said that you made a legal complaint in November.
Yes.
To the Swiss authorities. Did you give them the Garcia files, or was it just a legal complaint? Or did that include the Garcia files?
They have the Garcia file.
As part of that legal complaint?
Sorry?
As part of that legal challenge?
Yes. So the General Attorney in Switzerland, they have the Garcia report since 18th of November or just after. So. First here, please, and then we go up. And another 3 questions, and then if there is anything else, I will ask you to come once again, but let me go another 3 questions, and then we have to move on.
Thanks, Walter. Paul Kelso, Sky News. Can you tell me, will any of the officials arrested this morning at the Borough Lac be suspended from FIFA as a result of their arrest? And just to follow up on what you said about the president, you say he is relaxed. How can he be relaxed? Is he more interested in his own reputation, or does he really care about FIFA? Because it seems strange to say he's relaxed because he's not been arrested when FIFA is once again involved in such a situation.
Okay, thanks for this question. So I can maybe correct what I just said. He's not dancing in his office. This kind of relaxment. He's just he's very calm. He sees what happens. He's fully cooperative with everybody, and that's what I meant. You know, he's not a kind of a happy man today and say, wow, that's really cool what happens here. But he knows this is the consequences of what we initiated. So it's not it's a surprise that it happens today, but it's not a surprise that it happened. And the second question was?
Was anyone arrested this morning?
No, because there is. I mean, they were arrested, and then we're going to see. They're not convicted yet, so we cannot just suspend someone because he's arrested. So
they could vote tomorrow. They have to vote in the election. They could vote tomorrow.
Well, I mean, but they have to be present. I mean, if they're not present, then they cannot vote. Charlie. No, sorry. No, I start to mix up the names here. Please. Another two questions. One here and one there, please.
Yeah, I'm not Charlie. I'm Mike Collett from Reuters. Walter, isn't this really a case of the chickens coming home to roost? Mr. Blatter has been talking about for years his mission to clean up FIFA, but it seems now that even if you did instigate these proceedings, they've been taken out of your hands. The FBI are involved, the Swiss authorities are involved, and somebody else is cleaning up FIFA, and it's not being cleaned up from within.
We can clean up until a certain point, but then we need the support from the authorities. That was also our statement half a year ago. So why did we hand over the Garcia file and other things to the general attorney? Because we need support. We cannot investigate as a police can or a general prosecutor can. So that's the reason why we did it, and that's the reason why we fully cooperate. Last question, please, or the second last, and we have a German one here and there.
Thank you, Holger. Holger Hanich vom Deutschen Handelsblatt.
Holger Hanich, Deutsches Handelsblatt. If I understood you correctly, FIFA will not draw consequences from what has happened because people have been arrested but not accused. What would be the condition for accusing or suspending someone? Would they have to be formally accused in order to be suspended, or when will that happen? Well, you understand, of course, the basic idea. There's this presumption of innocence, and you need a legal procedure. And the ethics committee is involved. Various bodies are involved, and they will decide whether a member, for whatever reasons, will be suspended. But you cannot expect that at 6 o'clock in the morning the Attorney General shows up and arrests people, and that we would say they are to be suspended right away. I mean, if there's nothing behind all that, we cannot do any kind of preventive measure. This will not be the case. And once again, and now it is almost 12 o'clock, we're talking about something that started 5 hours ago. We're still trying to gather information, and provided the federal attorney and the Office of Justice, Federal Office of Justice, will provide the necessary information, and then we shall see. But to expect now that on short notice we would suspend the people and then see what happens, that is not possible. And now the very last question right here. Anna Richter, Deutsche Presseagentur, DPA. Walter, you don't want to confirm any names. That's understandable. But there are 2 vice presidents of FIFA among the names mentioned. Now, the new ExCo will then confirm the World Cups of 2018 and 2022. The slots for the World Cup, can you do that? Can you explain that? Dear Arne, I cannot give you any names. You have to wait until Saturday, Friday and Saturday to see what will happen. If they are present or not present, you will have to be patient. So please accept that for the time being. I can say nothing more.
Anything that we think we have to say, we invite you for another press conference, and thanks for coming on this short notice.